Hey everyone, Dr. Frunke here with an interesting new knife consult for you on a knife brand that I have never featured on my channel. This is the TuyaKnife Hive. It's unusual for me to have a TuyaKnife on my channel because TuyaKnife is, until this point, essentially another one of the nameless Chinese brands that are producing relatively high quality titanium frame lock flippers in a fairly crowded market. Now, what sets this knife apart is that this knife was designed by my good friend, Vahit Dincman. I may have called him Dinkman in my previous video, but he is the man behind Bade Modern Designs, or Bade Modern Designs, BMD. You can go back on my channel and see the video that I made on the integral Wolverine knife that he designed and had built by We Knives. That knife has not gone into production. This knife, however, is a full production knife sold by TuyaKnives. It's available on their website. I will leave a link down below so you can check that out. Full disclosure, this knife was provided to me by TuyaKnives distributor Dave Warren. So thank you, Dave and Vahit, for sending this along for an overview. This is not my knife. I will not be keeping it, and so this was sent for review just so you understand where I'm coming from with this. So with that in mind, I am going to treat this as I do any other knife, and we're going to go ahead and get some vital signs on the Hive. Obviously, the Hive name is given to it by because of its hexagonal honeycomb-like pattern on the front of the knife here. I think that that is really cool, and it brings a new aesthetic that I haven't seen in any other production knife right now. We'll get to the details of the handle, but up front, you are getting a full-length blade. You are getting a full 3.75 inches of M390 steel. Yes, that is M390 you're getting, and this is a package coming in at $268. I hadn't mentioned that as of yet. Back to the pivot, you're looking at about 4.3 inches. You're at 8.6 inches of overall length. The handles are 4.85 inches right there and an effective grip area of 4 inches. So you have a full 4 inches of grip area and a full-size 3.75 inch blade. The handle thickness on these titanium scales is coming in at 0.517 inches. So just over half an inch, and the blade stock is 160 thousandths. Now on the website, this thing is listed at 5.1 ounces. We'll see if that stays true on my scale. 5.2 ounces is what this one is saying, 5.2 ounces. So 5.20 on that one. So let's bring out another couple of knives for a size comparison. Right here is the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. And here is the Para 3. We'll get these all lined up just like this. This knife is even bigger than the Paramilitary 2 over here. Let's bring out some more bigger knives so we can take a look. Here is the Koenig Knives Arius. You'll see is about the same size. So this is a full-size knife. This is not a small knife by any means. Let's have another high-end Chinese production knife come out here. This is the We Knives Arrakis. The sort of more subdued version of the Isham design. And just for fun, we'll bring out another Chinese-made knife here. This is the Mastrop and Gavco Thresher for another example of some high-end milling and other things, and another competitive option maybe. This is coming in with S35. This has M390. This has M390. This is 350. This is effectively 250. This is effectively 150. So we are seeing some gradations as we go up here and some significant improvements at each price point. And I want to go over the details here of the Hive so you can see what we are looking at. So let's go ahead and break this knife down anatomically. Up front is this very excellent user-friendly blade of M390. I am really excited to say that this has one of the best blades that I've seen on a production knife. It is a no-nonsense, user-focused, regular style, I call it a drop point blade. It has a slight drop point to it. It has a nice swedge. Call it a high spear point or its modified drop point, whatever you want to call it. It has a very, very nice full flat grind with a high polish satin finish It's got a belt satin, but it is reflective and quite nice to look at. It is a fingerprint magnet, so I will try not to touch it as much as I can. Again, a very tasteful swedge up top. There is some jimping right here that does provide some pretty excellent traction. You really do get a full stop on your thumb when you place it on there, but it is not painful in any way. That is exactly how good tractioned jimping needs to be done. Really nice there, very, very nice. Take a look back here at the flipper area. We'll talk about the pivot a little bit. So this is running on ceramic multi-row ball bearings. This is built by TuyaKnives, and they have their own multi-row bearing system where they have a white Teflon washer with multiple rows of ball bearings kind of in an alternating sequence. And they're large washers, and they're extremely nice looking. They're very, very smooth. And straight from the factory, this has a wonderful, wonderful action. I just tuned this up right before the video, so it's going to be a little bit more of a lubricated, heavily lubricated action because of my own techniques for cleaning it out is probably a bit heavy-handed. But the action is excellent. Very, very, very smooth. The D10 is tuned just right on this flipper tab for an excellent deployment. Very, very nice flipper tab too. Just the right size, not too obtrusive, no sharp points, just the right amount of jimping, exactly the right geometry for a very nice flip. And really just the way that it opens up and your hand is able to sit right there and use that blade is excellent. This is a very, very user focus to it, despite the fact that it has an artistic touch. Now, taking a look at this knife, this may appear differently than you will see on the sort of stock photos. And that's because I did sort of a proof of concept experiment on this knife before I filmed this video, where I reversed the hardware on the knife. So if you take a look, on the lock side of the knife, there is a hexagonal pivot collar around a circular pivot screw. That and this screw are present on the presentation side when you buy the knife. So all of the materials you'll see and the advertisements will have these screws on the front of the knife. But what I found out is that you can very easily reverse the pivot, and then this is a titanium cylinder that goes through the back spacer. So you just take the screw out, push the cylinder out the other side, and it matches up perfectly to just reverse the thing. And so now I have a full presentation side without any hardware showing. And that is a really cool thing. I feel like I modified my own knife with the hardware that it already had, and I really like the look of this. So let's go ahead and talk about these handles. This is really the focal point of this knife. The Hive is offered either in this gold. I'm going to go ahead and call this the honey color, but it's offered as gold, or it comes as silver. I definitely wanted to check this out in gold because it's a very nice color. You could almost call it a bronze. It does show some fingerprints, but it hides them pretty well, and it really makes the color, you know, have more depth when you put your fingers on it. Take a look there at the pivot, a large hexagonal thing. So this is actually fixed to the cylinder of the pivot, so this thing is never going to rotate. It is fixed in position. It's quite durable. I really like that, actually. That construction is not only artistic, but also extremely functional. I really like the way that this is put together. Again, I have to mention the MRBS system that they have, proprietary to them. Super nice. Let's take a look here at the scales. A couple of things going on here. So in addition to the hexagonal pivot, now we have all these hexagons, all these honeycomb patterns randomly generated through the knife here. You see them on the back here in just a small amount, sort of just a tastefully done amount on the back. What you'll also notice is that there is some carbon fiber peeking out from some of these windows. That is because on the inside of the knife, there is a carbon fiber inlay that is carefully affixed to the inside. I'm not sure the voodoo that they use to keep that in place. It's probably a combination of an adhesive and press fitting the carbon fiber to the inside of that scale. But it just shows that that's quite intricate milling right there. I mean, we see some of this on some very expensive knives. I'll mention recently I had the Hoback Buster on here that was an $800 knife that featured some very similar style milling techniques of different depths, and this has a press fit carbon fiber insert. I'm not saying that it is equivalent, I'm just impressed by the level of quality and the way that they've pulled this off, and the fit and finish is quite excellent with all these small details. This has a very nice user-friendly clip, milled titanium job right here, rides relatively low in the pocket, gives just enough for the knife to come out nice and easily. There's a nice amount of ramp and a nice amount of spring. This is essentially an excellent clip. I have no complaints about this. In terms of ergonomics, this knife fits beautifully in my hand. I have a larger hand, size 8 sterile gloves, for those who understand that reference. My thumb, as I mentioned before, gets excellent traction. My finger fits beautifully into that forward choil. The remainder of my finger is very comfortably on the handle with a full wrap around. There's a full mid-length backspacer right here that has some jimping patterns, but you don't really feel that in the hand. Something that's also extremely excellent is that there is milling here in the landing zone for the flipper to provide for a luxurious flipping experience. So you put your finger here, and as it lands on that milled area, it's quite comfortable. So all aspects of this knife have been covered by my friend Vahit, and I must say, I didn't think I was going to like this knife, but I really do. I think that underneath sort of a flashy handle, you have an almost Shirogorov-esque functionality to this blade. Just a no-nonsense, use it all day, every day kind of a knife. If you're not into this flashier gold handle, certainly check out the silver one. You can get it on the TuyaKnife website. Wanted to say a big thank you to my friend Vahit. We've had a lot of nice discussions, and you know, we've had some nice exchanges. He sent me this pretty awesome copper sort of Nuck style Wolverine claw Spartan thing. It's so amazing. It's really, really cool. He is a machinist at heart and a designer and an artist, and I really enjoy his designs. I really liked the Wolverine, and I'm happy to see that this one has made it to full fruition and is available right now. So go ahead and take a look at the Hive by TuyaKnife, designed by my friend Bade Modern Designs, Vahit Dincman over there. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think of this knife down below in the comments. Click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram as Dr. Frunky. Follow Bade Modern Designs. Go over to my Patreon and help me out with some support over there. And thank you guys for watching, and take care.